Season's greetings, I'm Sam from All Time Movies, and it's the most wonderful time of the year. A time for celebration, a time for joy, a time for your whole family to leave you in your house while they go to Paris, the bastards. It's Home Alone. Now, we all think we know their classic Christmas story, but what if the world of this festive film was a little different to what we originally thought? These are the craziest fan theories about Home Alone. 1. Mobster Dad. Kevin's dad, Peter, is very defensive when Harry comes to scope out the house dressed as a police officer.
Am I under arrest or something?
Why would he be so concerned about a policeman popping in to check on the neighbourhood? Well, this theory goes that Peter McAllister is, in fact, a high-ranking gangster on the Chicago crime scene. But let's just have a little look at this one for a second. We never find out what Peter does either, we just know he's insanely rich. Somehow. The McAllisters aren't exactly a small family. Peter has 5 kids and a wife who doesn't work. And they're going on a transatlantic holiday for Christmas in first class. And they live in a mansion. Plus, the Wet Bandits want specifically to target that house.
And that's the one, Marvin. That's the silver tuna.
Which is very strange considering it's on a whole street of mansions. Could this be because Harry knows he's a major gangster on the Chicago crime scene? In addition, let's look at the impact on his family of psychos. Buzz is a total mentalist who clearly wants to follow in his dad's footsteps. Uncle Frank is creepy as f***. He's definitely in the family business. Also, why is Kevin so totally fine violently attacking 2 grown men? I know he's 8, but he knows that paint cans to the head is going to really f***ing hurt. And let's not forget that in the second film, Kevin ends up with his dad's bag, which is full of cash, literally thousands and thousands of dollars. Why on earth is he carrying around that much cash and no traveller's checks? It's dodgier than a £3 note, as we say in Victorian London. 2. Doing a jigsaw. This one is an old but a good that Home Alone is actually the origin story of John Kramer, also known as Jigsaw from the Saw movies. This theory goes that in both Home Alone and Home Alone 2, Kevin displays a ton of behaviour that would suggest he goes on to become a serial killer. Or at least a serial put people in situations where they could kill themselves. Kevin's traps might seem like innocent child's play, and while some of them are fairly harmless, others are totally psychopathic. In fact, in 2012, Dr. Ryan St. Clair, who clearly had a very busy day when he worked this out, noted that the blowtorch to the head would result in the skull being so burnt it would require a partial transplant. Plus, most of the booby traps, are triggered by the actions of Harry and Marv, i.e. the victims, just like in the Saw movies. Both franchises also feature booby trap stairs, that blowtorch echoes the furnace trap, the paint cans resemble the ice trap in Saw 4, and when Kevin shoots Harry, this is weirdly similar to the gunshot to the eye in Saw 2. Plus, Kevin uses his talk boy and recorded shows to trick and scare people in both Home Alone and Home Alone 2, which could very easily develop into Saw's infamous videotapes and "I want to play a game"-ness. 3. Evil Uncle Frank. Let's be honest here, Uncle Frank is an absolute bellend, but this theory takes the evil uncle theory to a whole new level. Uncle Frank was actually planning to rob his brother's house and have his nephew Kevin murdered to death. We know that Uncle Frank is totally skint, which is British for not very rich. But we know that Peter McAllister is actually rolling in it. So jealousy overwhelms the older brother who wants to rob his younger and more successful sibling. But why would Uncle Frank want to kill little Kevin? Well, Kevin refers to his uncle's lack of money.
Wouldn't want to spoil your fun, Mr. Cheapskate.
So what if Kevin had actually uncovered something more incriminating in Uncle Frank's finances while snooping? This would mean that Uncle Frank would have to take out his nephew in order to keep them potentially unscrupulous money problems secret. So, what if, to confront both money and troublesome nephew issues, Uncle Frank devised a plan to employ 2 burglars to rob Peter's house and kill Kevin in the process? Luckily, Frank underestimates his nephew, who fights back and survives the burglary and eventually outwits the Wet Bandits. Luckily for Frank, the police never uncover the link between Harry and Marv and himself, and he continues on into the next film. 4. Kevin finds Jesus. Now for a theory a little less gruesome but a bit more Jesus-y. YouTuber The Reformed Pupcast believes that Home Alone is actually the salvation of Kevin's soul. At the beginning of the film, Kevin is a regular little sinner. He doesn't honour his mother or his father.
I hope I never see any jerks again.
And he worships false idols. What do you mean false idols? Santa's real, right? Right? At the beginning of the film, Kevin wishes his family to disappear, but it's only after he is left completely alone he realises the need for guidance and love in his life.
I didn't mean it. If you come back, I'll never be a pain in the butt again. I promise.
He goes back to the church that he hid in earlier in the movie and meets Old Man Marley, but in this theory, he's not Old Man Marley, he's God. Marley tells Kevin about his lost son, which is actually Kevin. Then the little sinner asks for his own salvation when giving Marley/God this bit of advice.
My point is, you should call your son.
Marley also, it must be noted, has stigmata E wounds on his hand. After this run-in with God, Kevin goes to pray before eating his dinner with angel candlesticks either side of him, proving that he's become a changed man/little Macaulay Culkin boy. He is tested by the burglars who come to represent Satan, and it's only when he's about to be killed that he's rescued by God. He gets his family back, and then the film ends with Old Man Marley being reunited with his family, proving that Kevin's soul has been safely reconciled with God. 5. Kate's soul. This theory is one of the weirdest ones, but it goes that Kevin's mum, Kate, actually sold her soul to the devil to get back her son. When she's stranded at Scranton Airport, without even a Michael Scott to entertain her, she proclaims that she'll do anything to get her son back, even
if I have to sell my soul to the devil himself.
Now, this links into the myth of the Crossroads demon. This myth goes that if you give the devil an offering near a crossroads, he will show up and take the offering in exchange for a gift. Kate offers up her soul near the crossroads right in the middle of the airport, and suddenly, Gus Polanski appears to take the offering in return for getting her back to Chicago. And because she accepts this ride, she fulfills her part of the bargain and sacrifices her soul. Gus also plays a woodwind instrument, which, according to some interpretations of the Bible, is a firm favourite of the devil himself. That's weird. I thought he'd be more a brass man. 6. FBI Operation. Back to the mysterious Peter McAllister now. One theory goes that Kevin's dad was actually working for the US government, experimenting with methods of training secret agents. He starts with Buzz, training him to the stereotypical tough army man, and he then progressed to Kevin. He needs to train agents that are self-reliant, so Peter makes Kevin the scapegoat in the house and sets up the scenario to leave his son home alone, pitted against two hapless robbers to see how he reacts. And the sequel? Well, that was Peter making sure that the first time wasn't a fluke. And if Peter McAllister was working at a pretty senior level at the FBI, you can assume his paycheck was pretty chunky, which would explain the enormous house and crazy expensive holidays. So that was our list of the weirdest Home Alone theories, but are there any we missed? Let us know in the comments below, drop us a like and subscribe, and if you can't get enough Christmas movies, check out our top 10 Christmas films list. Or if you want something a little different, the 5 worst Christmas movies. It's your choice, chaps. You have fun now and have a good holidays.